Welcome back to the show. Now we're getting to the second half of our topics. And to start off with just thoughts on kind of like what team can kind of be like, the most improved team next year that isn't being talked about now. And a team we just mentioned earlier, I feel as though Sacramento can even build on what they've been doing. I mean, they had the best offense last year. They upgraded. They need to upgrade defensively because they really haven't been that active free agency wise. And I'm wondering like what their moves are going to be before the start of the season. But to you, like what team do you think could be like a sleeper or a surprise team for next year?
Yeah, it was the team that we talked about earlier, man. Oklahoma City Thunder, man. That's the team that I'm gonna be tuned in and
Eyes on.
watching to see, man. Yeah, because man, they got some talent, man. And then I think they signed Victor Oladipo as well.
I think so.
So if they can get him healthy
Man,
and
that's
play,
scary.
that team is gonna upset people. You will not want to see them in the first round matchup because they're gonna make you work and going to exhaust you out, man, just by with their athletic ability and their quickness. So I would say that's my sleeper team. And then you got first team All NBA Shea, the bucket
Come
getter,
on,
man,
man.
who's
Shay's a bucket. He's so.
unstoppable.
What stands out to you about his game? Because he can score in a myriad of ways. He can just do so many different things.
Yeah, the thing is, like you take away one thing from him, he's going to find another way to do something. So you take away the drive to the basket, he's going to light you up. It's it's
It's
crazy, man.
crazy.
Like it's hard to contain him. He's breaking out of that shell, and he's going he's going to continue to just get better. So it's scary over there at OKC, man.
It really is, man. And looking at the free agency as well, because there have been so many just crazy different moves. The Lakers, they really kind of rebuilt their young roster. The Suns, they get Bradley Beal. They're trying to go
Oh,
for another big three type of era. Like what stands out to you in terms of the NBA offseason landscape and what teams are trying to like regroup and try to get back to that top? And also Chris Paul going to Golden State because I don't think anybody saw that coming.
no, that was a complete shocker to me. I was like, who's he gonna play? Is he gonna come off the bench? Is
That's
he
what I was thinking
starting?
too.
Like, there's no
What's the
way him
move?
and Steph being on the floor at the same time. Defensive liability, defensive liability.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's real.
and Chris Paul's on. He's on that down slope right now. So that was interesting. But I think the NBA is just going into the direction of, hey, we have to be contenders. So
Every
a
year.
lot of these organizations are like, hey, they're tired of waiting. So they're trying to go get the best players to make them jump up and be those contenders, man. Because yeah, everybody's getting a big three. Everybody's getting a big two or big three. And you see what
But
they're
don't
doing
you
over
think the
there in
big three? But
Phoenix,
don't you
man.
think the big three era is like done? Like, do you think teams should really go after that? Because Jokic, because what we saw with Denver, Jokic and
Yeah,
Murray,
it's the big two.
you know what I mean? And then like go to Clay and Steph last year. Why do you think? Because to me, I think the big three era just needs to like be put to
Oh,
rest.
I agree.
Because
It
the
doesn't
last
work.
big, that's what
It
I'm
doesn't.
saying. The
We
last
saw
big
with
three era,
Kyrie in the James Harden and KD, it fell apart quick.
and
It
that
doesn't
team
work.
was the most talented offensive assembled team I've ever seen. When I saw
I
Harden in
agree.
Brooklyn, I was like, oh, they might actually win it all.
I agree. And obviously it did it didn't work out.
They got swept in the first round.
But yeah, that's what I don't know what's gonna happen with the Suns. Like they like you said, great team statistically, great scores, but will it actually work is the question. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. But man, it's
and
gonna be interesting.
because to me, like if in terms of what I think would be the right move for the Suns to have made, just build around Booker and KD. That's all
I
you got.
agree.
Like I think
I
that
agree.
makes sense. Just get shooters, try to get defenders.
And
I think the two
yeah,
man philosophy would work perfectly.
all they needed was to get other guys stepping up. Like you said, a couple role players, a couple shooters out there that can knock down some shots and take a little bit of pressure off of those guys. Another ball handler coming off the bench that can do some things. And we saw Mikal Bridges how much they missing him now. So
That's true.
Nets is another team, bro. It's like can make some stuff happen, man. So
They're a team that's they're being called a potential suitor for Damian Lillard. That's a team that might get Lillard, and I feel as though Lillard might go to a team that we don't expect because
yeah,
sometimes we expect the big name like the big
yeah,
cities. I mean, Brooklyn is in that sphere,
yeah.
but not the team that we would expect him to end up to. I
Exactly.
think Miami or Boston probably would be the favorite to get him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Him with those young guys.
I would. It would be interesting. It would kind of be interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
he wouldn't get to the finals, but it would be interesting.
yeah. See what old Ben Simmons get.
Oh my goodness, he's not
He
even
probably
playing
gonna be
three
in
on
that
three.
package deal.
He's not even playing 3-on-3. Like they're
No,
saying he's still not. I'm like, what is? That's another player. Like, what do you think about Ben Simmons in just terms of like his last few years has just been so disappointing?
yeah. It's been very disappointing, and it's crazy to how he started out his NBA career
Yeah,
with. It's like, man, this kid's gonna be really good. Had a good rookie season, and ever since then, it's just
it's just been downhill.
dying, and it's I don't know if he lost passion for the game or what, but he's
He's got the skill
I-
set.
he has the frame. He's 6'10"
6'11",
point guard,
playing
like
point guard. Like when I heard he was first playing for, I was like, no way, no way.
6'10" point guard, like that's ridiculous.
That's insane, bro. My goodness,
So yeah, he just got to get his mind right and
mentality.
play. He
Yeah,
needs a really strong minded coach that can get him in the right mindset. So
definitely. And,
mhm.
and another thing that I found interesting recently, LeBron he got an award at the ESPYS, and he was talking about like, you know, when will I ever retire? Like when I lose that passion, and then he said, lucky for you guys, it's not going to be this year. And the crowd went crazy because we all knew LeBron wasn't
Oh
going to
yeah,
actually retire because he
no,
little
no,
Bronny. But
nobody.
but what are your thoughts on just how long he's been going? What he can do to like continue to stay at the frame and just the level that he's at, and just overall thoughts on just him still going because like year 20 plus, he's still doing what he's doing at a high level.
Yeah, it's we've never seen it before. Like we've seen the players play for 19, 20 years, but we haven't seen them play at that high of a level. What last year, Braun he had the most points he averaged in his career. It's like how?
Exactly. He was
How?
going on a run where like LeBron was like the leading scorer,
Yeah,
and we're just like he's on one of the worst teams in the first half of,
yeah.
of the year, and then he's getting buckets every night.
Just like how? And a big testament to it is I saw a stat he spends over $1 million on his body a year.
Yes,
So
it's
he's making
bananas.
sure he's doing the things to stay on top of it, working hard, training, taking care of his body, recovering and doing stuff like that. I think young players gotta, have
Take
that same
notes.
mindset. Uh and they're preventing all these injuries. Like his teammate, Anthony Davis, who can't stay on the floor for
Another
two
guy who
weeks.
should be like arguably the best player in the league and just can't stay on the court like it's for a
Yeah.
full week. Like
Yeah. I'm like, you have the blueprint right next to you.
like
Like, what
come
are you
on, man,
doing?
every day.
Yeah. Like, how are you still getting hurt like this? But yeah, he can be, like you said, when he's healthy, he can be the best player in the NBA. So
Do you how
it's
many
it's
how many more years do you think LeBron plays? Like, do you think it's one of those things he's just gonna play till he can play with Bronny? Because I mean, like you said, how much he treats his body during the off season, he could play into his. We saw what Brady did in the NFL. He played into like 45. I
yeah.
mean,
I
why
can
couldn't LeBron do it?
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I can see, yeah, man, I can see him at least playing for another 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At least another 5. So yeah, yeah. That dude is just I don't know. He's different. Built different.
Yeah, he really
Built
is.
different.
And the league is also talking about, I don't know if you heard about this, but an in season tournament. You know how they have.
Yes.
What did you think about that? Because that's very interesting. Because like expanding, having more games, bringing variety to the league. Like, what do you think about that expansion? Just kind of like how that could look for the,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
league.
I think it's cool because regular season games are typically not they don't play hard,
Yeah,
not much defense,
have some
not
more
much
incentive.
really competition. Guys just trying to score and you know it's like, all right, once the end of the season comes, then people turn it up. But I
Yeah.
think by putting in a tournament, you make guys compete because now people want to win a trophy. They
Oh yeah,
want to win a
they'll go hard
tournament.
for a trophy.
They
Yeah.
say, "Oh yeah, we're the first one to win the tournament." So I think, yeah, exactly. So I think it's gonna bring that level of competition a little bit higher for those regular season games. So I think it'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And now getting to kind of like our next topic with uh, we hear this topic a lot about who's the best player in the league right now. There's so many people you can throw around. Obviously,
Yeah.
with what Jokic just did, Giannis as well. You can't forget him. LeBron. Like to you, who deserves that title as the best player in the league right now? Because when I look at what Jokic is doing, I mean, the
Hmm.
guy can just do everything in it. Me and Tavon talk about it all the time. It doesn't make sense because he doesn't look like the guy
At
who should be
all.
able to knock down all these
At
threes.
all. Doesn't
Has
make
this
sense at
weird
all.
release, but is so consistent in like just the passing and the shooting. He just has the right touch. Like who to you right now should deserve that title of like the best player in the league?
Yeah, so I'll give you three answers. So I'll tell you the best player I believe, then I'll tell you the who I think is the most skilled, and then I'll tell you the most dominant player.
Okay.
So the best player is Joker. and
Yeah, you got
it's not even close. Like nobody's doing what he's doing, and like you said, it's nobody can stop it. Like he's slow.
yeah,
he, but
really,
he kills you on the glass. If he misses a shot, he's getting the rebound automatically.
yeah,
Like it's unreal, and his playmaking ability is man, it's on the level of LeBron James, who is one of the greatest
wow.
passers of all time. So, and the ability to go out there and get a triple double is at his size and his frame
We're used to
is
Westbrook
unreal.
doing that, like not a
Yeah,
big.
yeah, not a slow big man.
Exactly.
Like it's unreal. So I would definitely say he deserves that title as the best player. But then I go to the most skilled, who I believe is the most skilled, is has to be Mister Kyrie Irving.
Oh, how did I leave out Kyrie, man? God
bro,
goodness.
Kyrie is one of the best players I've like most skilled players I've seen. He got the handles, like probably the best handles in the league.
Yeah.
Finishing at the rim, like
Just
it's nobody
masterful.
his size or even above his size who can finish around the rim with both hands.
Yeah.
Man, it's unreal. And then he can shoot the ball. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like the dude is very skilled. I question some of his, tactics and some of the off the court stuff and
Were you surprised
the
with him staying in Dallas for 3 years?
yeah, I was shocked.
I could
Yeah.
not. I did not see
Yeah.
that coming.
I was shocked. I for sure thought he was going somewhere else.
This was
Yeah,
his
that one
chance. This was
surprised
his
me.
chance. Like he's been
Yeah,
wanting this for years, and now he finally got it and said, "I'm gonna
yeah.
stay with Dallas." That was
I
surprising.
was like, wow, he surprised me on that one. So,
Yeah.
Mark Cuban must be whispering in his ear
I'm
some
telling you,
stuff.
Mark Cuban must have pulled an amazing deal to keep
Yeah,
Kyrie in Dallas.
yeah, it's crazy because I was like, yeah, he's for sure leaving.
But him and
So,
Luca, that's a whole season. They could do some damage together.
Luca's probably my second favorite player in the NBA right
I,
now.
now, and this is the thing about Luca. I was like, as soon as he came in the league, because me and Savon talked about this for years. Luke, he wasn't sold on him, but I'm like, man, that guy is a killer scorer. That
Nah, yeah,
guy is a killer scorer. Like
yeah.
how he can just lull you to sleep with the step back. I'm like,
Another
he is
one is just
an
like,
elite
how is he
scorer.
doing it?
Exactly, exactly.
How?
Yeah,
But yeah, he's yeah. Lucas good. But yeah, Kyrie, that dude he's tough. Don't like how he did my boys in Boston, but hey, he's still good
man, the
though.
team. I'm telling you, that team when they were going into the year, going into the year, everybody Hayward, Tatum, Brown, Kyrie. I'm like, they should go like 67-15.
Squad, man.
That was a squad. Like I'm
Squad.
saying, like, and Kyrie was he. That era was so interesting because he finally got the chance to be the number one guy,
Yep, to be that guy. Yep.
and we saw that. Okay, he needed a LeBron.
Oh
That
yeah.
was when we were like, oh yeah, you can't be that guy. Like you get the opportunity, everything's in front of you. You're in the East, you guys should win it. And LeBron is still the superior guy to you. He wasn't ready for that moment. He just was
It
not
was
ready for that
bad.
moment.
It was
And that team
bad,
looked
man.
incredible.
Yeah. I was like, man, shoot, we got Kyrie.
We even
Like,
talked about that a lot in school, man. Like, what do you think? You guys should win it all? It's like, yeah, we should, but we're not winning
yeah,
on paper.
it's crazy. That was a good team, man.
That was,
That roster was stacked.
man.
So, but yeah, then I'll say my most dominant player, which is probably an obvious answer, is Giannis, man. Yeah,
Giannis
Greek
is
Freak is yeah he like every time I'm like,
There's nothing you can do.
playoffs come,
He's that one player. Like there's nothing you can like. You know how we said
yo,
about Shaq years ago. Like there's nothing you can do.
yeah,
He's just gonna miss free throws, but that's about it. There's
yeah,
nothing you can do.
that's it. That's it. Like Giannis, man, is a beast. Like you
Literally,
either gonna foul him or he's gonna dunk on you or both.
simultaneously.
It's crazy, man. It's unreal. I'm like, this dude, like, whenever the playoffs come around, I'm like, all right, who the matchup's gonna be? Two teams I never want to face in the playoffs. It's one, Milwaukee Bucks. Number two,
Oh
Miami Heat. Never.
yeah.
I never want to face them in the playoffs. Never.
Because Miami, they just no matter even if they're because we saw this year they should not have gone as far as they did because they
No.
were missing so many people. But Jimmy Butler and Adebayo, you're gonna get undrafted guys like Gabe Benson, I think Caleb Martin. You're gonna get all these guys
Yeah.
who do the little things, and they're gonna outbeat your talent every time.
Yeah. And the thing is, the Miami Heat, they're a selfless team. Like, it's like, hey, it's your night, bro. Keep
Do it.
feeding you the rock. Keep
Yeah, we don't
shooting.
care.
Like they don't care. They just like, hey, you hooping? Keep hooping, man.
Do it.
Yeah.
That's less
So
pressure on us.
yeah, no pride on the team, man. They just like, hey, if you gotta score 30 for us to win,
Do it.
score 30, bro. Like it's crazy. They got that good culture over there, man. So yeah, those are two teams I never want to play. Like
Ever.
every time, like, and I had a feeling too. I was like, this year, I was like, playing Miami. I know they're down, but man, it's something about playing Miami, man. Something about it.
And it's
Something
that
about it.
coaching as well, because
Hmm.
Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. In-game
Yeah.
adjustment, timeouts. He is going to like scheme up, and I don't know how he does it, but every year, I remember one year, I think they were 12-30, and then they had like the best record the second half of the season. Like it just they turned it around that quick, and coaching still matters even
Oh
today.
yeah, for sure, for sure. It definitely matters, and you see it. You see it at times. You saw it with the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah,
Steve Nash had no
he
control
had
over
no
that
idea what
team,
to do. He had no idea what
so
to
it was crazy. It was bad. It was a circus over there.
do. Yeah,
So
and it's interesting. You mentioned Giannis, like obviously they they let go of Mike Budenholzer, bring in a new coach. That first round exit was something nobody expected.
no,
Like what do you think Milwaukee and Giannis need to do in the next season? Because they bring back a lot of their players, a lot of their core, like Chris Middleton, Drew
hmm
Holiday. What do they have to do to kind of get back to that Eastern Conference Finals, or I know you don't want them to get to the finals, but at least that top tier status again.
yeah. I think they just got to go back to what they were doing the year they won the championship, and
Yeah,
that is riding that horse
for
of
sure.
Giannis and making those using those shooters outside. Hey, when Giannis is getting a little slowed down, kicking out to those shooters they got, man, because they got some knockdown shooters on their team. With Brooke
For sure.
Lopez, man, it's ridiculous how insane that dude's been playing. And then Middleton is the other guys out there. I think they just gotta, go back with that mentality. Like, yeah, we got punched in the face last year. Yep, unfortunate ending of the season, but learn from it, grow from it, and let that be a motivation. It's like, hey, we going out and we about to sweep somebody
Oh,
in
for
this
sure.
first round,
Yeah,
and it ain't gonna be close. So I think just got to come with that mentality of, hey, yeah, we got punched in the face, but we punched somebody in the face this year. So
definitely. And one more thing. Obviously, Philly, man, that's another team
disappointment.
it's disappointing. It's disappointing because Embiid was the MVP. He was supposed to have, they that game 6 against Boston. That was at home. I'm
That
like,
should have been
this is
over.
your moment. This is your moment. Just beat him. Don't go back to Boston because you know how that's going to go, and we know how
Yes,
that ended up. What do
yes.
you think about Philly? Because Doc Rivers, he gets let go. They have another early exit. Like, what can this team do? Especially Nick Nurse, he won a championship with Toronto. What can they do differently? And Lillard, that's another team that Philly has mentioned. Like, what
Yeah.
can they do next year to kind of like really get over that hump?
The locker room, man. They gotta figure out what those issues are. Because I really don't think James Harden was all the way locked in with the organization, and they were locked in with him, but it wasn't mutual. So I think they just got to get that situation figured out. If he's gonna stay, if he's gonna leave, whatever it is, he need to do it quick.
Quick, yes,
Yeah,
definitely
so
quick.
they can focus on what they need to focus on. But if he leaves, they definitely need another piece. So if Lillard was to go there, I think that'd be ridiculous. and that can help them for sure, because
Yeah.
they're right there, close. And then that game 6, it just was bad. And then even in game 7, Harden had a horrible game, and Embiid had a terrible game. So you can't do that in the
Your
closeout
two
game.
best players
Yeah,
can't do that. And I think
yeah.
Doc Rivers got a little bit too much blame because there's only
Oh
so
yeah.
much you can do when your two best players just aren't showing up.
No, yeah, they didn't have good games at all,
Yeah,
at all. And it
definitely.
was still a pretty close game. But yeah, they got some issues in that locker room, player personnel, and all of that is ridiculous.
Definitely. And before we head out, I still feel as though Denver is the team to beat in the West. Who do you who do you think could possibly challenge them in the West? Like that could give them a run for their money.
Oh man, I don't really see anybody challenging them in the West
Yeah,
uh, at all. The team that could come the closest, man,
it's tough. It's
probably
tough to
the
pick.
the
Maybe the Lakers.
Lakers.
Yeah, I would
But
say,
I'm
but
like, I
maybe
don't know what they're
AD.
gonna be like.
Yeah, that AD factor, I'm not confident in, man.
And yeah, so definitely not the Warriors. I don't know what they're gonna be like this year.
The only thing I would say about that is they always go they always go against the grain at the right time. So when it's like,
Yeah,
oh, we're just gonna go completely small ball, we're seeing the leagues going small. That might be the only thing that gets them over the hump. But
yeah,
at
you
the
help
same
them.
time, that size in the Lakers series just killed them. I don't know why
Oh
they
yeah,
didn't.
yeah, it
That's
was
what really
bad.
killed them because they didn't have any answers for the Lakers bigs.
No, none, and it was
I mean, Steph was
it was bad.
phenomenal, but the bigs just
Oh
were not.
yeah, it showed that they needed that size or needed to make adjustments to beat that. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, Denver, man, yeah, they the
That
team to
team
beat.
could go on a run.
They are the team to beat.
That's the
No
type of team
West.
that can go on a run.
Yeah.
Because
So
and another thing, Aaron Gordon. I know we talk about Jamal
yeah,
Murray. If he doesn't do what he did, they wouldn't have had an easy time winning that finals. Because Aaron Gordon,
no,
he stepped up in game
yeah,
3, game 4, like
yeah,
he was on a mission.
yeah. He he balled out, man. I
Killed it.
was like, where did this come
Where is this
from?
Aaron Gordon from?
Yeah, exactly. Which he did start the season off really good.
Yes.
And was on a tear before All Star break, but then kind of died down afterwards. But yeah, he stepped up big time for them in the playoffs. So especially in that finals, man.
Definitely, man. It's gonna be a really interesting season. Well,
Yeah,
Marlon, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man, and thank you so much for doing this.
yes, sir, man. It's always a pleasure, man. Yes, sir.
Definitely. Well, that wraps it up for tonight. I'm your host, Wendell Burns. This has been Full Scope. See you later.